Good day, everyone. So today our topic is all about Kant's deontological ethics. So Kant's ethics refers to a deontological. The terms deontological had its root from Greek deon, which means duty. So deontological ethics focuses on duty, obligation, and rights instead of consequences and ends. Willing and doing the will of all is a duty, regardless of the consequences. So, this idea says that doing what is right is not about the results, but about your intention and your duty. So, we should do something because it is right, not because it will give you a good outcome. So, Kant's idea says that an action is right if everyone can do it and it still makes sense. So, this is called the categorical imperative. So, let's relate this to Pay It Forward, J movie. So, ada iti idea ni Travers nga mangtulong iti tattao or others without expecting in returns. But people should pass the kindness to others. So, ni Travers, need na iti mangtulong talo nga tao. Then, dagito nga talo nga tao, need damit lang tumulong man in the other three. So, the kindness spreads and help many people. So, this can be applied to everyone without causing harm. So, it fits Kant's idea for a good moral action. So, pangkalahatan ni Suna, pang universal kumbaga. So, another example is ni Travers, tinulungan na ni Jerry, the homeless man. And ni Jerry, nag-stay iso na Jay, balay ni Travers, ikan damit lang iso na iti makan. So, Travers, he did not do this to get the rewards or something in return. He helped because he believed it was the right thing to do. So, Kant would say we should only do actions that are good to everyone to follow. So, Travers' idea works because it builds a better world while not paying debts breaks trust and cannot be universalized. So, in simple words, do your duty, follow rules that are fair to everyone, don't base your action on rewards or consequences.
Ang duty framework ay isang paraan ng paggawa ng ethical na desisyon na nakatuon sa mga tungkulin at moral na responsibilidad ng isang tao. Itinuturo nito na sa bawat sitwasyon, dapat nating alamin kung ano ang ating tungkulin at kung ano ang tamang gawin. Hindi lamang ang magiging resulta. Sa pananaw na ito, ang isang tao ay tinuturing na ethical kung sinusunod niya ang mga moral na panununtunan at ginagampanan ang kanyang tungkulin. Isa sa mga lakas nito ay ang pagtataguyod ng pagkakapantay-pantay at katarungan dahil pare-pareho ang mga panuntunan para sa lahat. Kaya naipapakita ang paggalang at dignidad sa kapwa. Gayunpaman, may mga kahinaan din ang duty framework. Maaari itong maging masyadong mahigpit at tila walang emosyon dahil nakatuon lamang ito sa pagsunod sa mga patakaran kahit pa may masamang epekto. Nagiging mahirap din ito kapag may nagkasalungat na tungkulin dahil hindi nito malinaw na sinasabi kung alin ang dapat unahin. Sa kabuuan, nagsisilbi itong gabay sa paggawa ng tama, ngunit maaaring hindi nito ganap na inaasahang ang mga komplikasyon ng tunay na sitwasyon sa buhay.
Kant's theory of right is about fairness and respect for others. He says that an action is right if it allows everyone to have freedom at the same time. This means that while you are free to do what you want, your actions should not harm or limit the freedom of others. Number one, we have here, an action is right if it respects everyone's freedom. So this means that what you do is considered right only if it allows other people to also be free. Your actions should not harm or control others. So for example is you can use your right like speaking or owning something, but you must do it in a way that respects other people's rights too. Number two is your freedom should not limit others' freedom. So it means that you are free to make choices, but of course there is a limit. If your actions take away someone else's freedom, then it becomes wrong. So number three, rules may apply to everyone. So this is the universal law. So Kant believes that rules should be fair for all people. If a rule is right, then everyone should be able to follow it, not just a few. Number four, you can use your rights but must respect others' rights. So you have rights like freedom of speech or ownership, but you must use them responsibly. You should not use your rights in a way that harms other. So number five is acting rightly shows good will and fairness. So when you respect others and follow fair rules, it shows that you have good intentions and treat people equally. So in short, or to summarize everything, Kant teaches us that being fair, respecting others, and following rules that apply to everyone shows goodwill and moral behavior.
Next, let's move on to legal right, moral right, and goodwill. First, if we say legal right, these are the actions that follow the law or rules set by the authorities. For example, wearing a seatbelt while driving because it is required by the law. Another example is the authorities set traffic rules like stopping at red light, and drivers have the legal duty to follow them to keep everyone safe. So that is the legal right. Next, moral right. These are the actions guided by ethics, values, and sense of right and wrong. For example, returning a lost wallet to its owner even if no one is watching. Another example is giving your seat to an elder person on a bus is a moral right, even if no law is required it. Next, the goodwill. This is voluntary kindness or action done beyond obligation to benefit others. For example, helping an elder neighbors carry groceries even though you're not asked to do it. Next example is helping a classmate with homework without expecting anything in return. So that is goodwill. So the key differences of the three is if we say legal right, these are required by the law. If we say moral right, this is guided by conscience or our conscience. Next is if we say goodwill, it is done freely out of kindness. So the importance of these three in our community is to promote fairness and justice, build trust and a strong relationship, and encourage a positive and ethical society.
So let us now move in the categorical imperative, developed by Immanuel Kant. So categorical imperative is a moral principle that tells us how to act based on duty and reason, not on feelings or consequences. So there are two types of categorical imperative, which is the universal law and the humanity formula. So the first one is the universal law. So it states that a person should only act according to a rule that they will be willing to make a universal law for everyone. This means before doing something, you should ask yourself if it would be okay if anyone did the same action. So the second one is the humanity formula. So this one is it teaches us that we must treat other people as ends in themselves and never just as a means to achieve our own goals. In simple terms, we should respect the dignity and value of every person and not use them for our own benefit. Both versions focus on doing what is morally right by using reason and respecting others.
The principle odds implies can introduced by Immanuel Kant means that a person can only be morally obligated to do something if they are capable of doing it. In other words, if we say that someone ought to act in a certain way, it follows that they can act that way. Otherwise, it would be unfair or unreasonable to demand it. This idea emphasizes that moral responsibility depends on a person's actual abilities and circumstances. So Fletcher Joseph Fletcher also used this principle in his situation ethics, explaining that individuals are only required to do what is realistically possible for them in their given situation. Ang example dito ay kung ang isang tao ay walang pera at sinabihan siyang magdo-donate ng malaking halaga, hindi siya obligadong gawin ito dahil hindi niya kaya. Ngunit kung may kakayahan kang tumulong, kung may kakayahan kang tumulong kahit sa maliit na paraan, doon pa lang siya may responsibilidad na tumulong. Yun lang po ang example ng act implies.
Say